between the episodes on Eisenholm. Continuing where we left off with the chiseling studio, I decided to start by gathering and preparing a couple of materials we'd need. The first step was grinding up some limestones, which was one more reminder that mechanical power should be high on the priority list. Sure, we could have used our hammer to crush them, but our hammer already has plenty of wear and tear to endure soon enough. While cooking the crushed lime up into quicklime, another temporal storm was about to roll in. I busied myself with a few homesteading chores until it was boiler time. After valiantly sitting safely within my industrial-grade bunker, the storm netted us a total of 4 temporal gears, 16 rusted gears, 12 flax fiber, and a Jonas part. Not too shabby. After the excitement of the temporal storm, I promptly forgot what I had been doing beforehand and got to panning through my collection of bony soil instead. I didn't get anything too exciting, just a bunch of books to fill out our kitchen bookshelf. Woo! Look, I get excited about new cookware and things like that, so don't judge me. With books and bones all sorted, I smithed the new rubble hammer, broke down a couple of rock slabs, built up a bit more of the gatehouse walls, and filled in the rest of the ground level inside the gatehouse courtyard. With it having been a bit since I had checked on the piglets last, I hopped on over to the stable and was happy to discover that both of them had grown up to be sows. So pork production will soon be in full swing. It was about this time I thankfully remembered my original task. I got to cooking up more quicklime for the plaster we'd need, and while I waited for it to bake, I popped out to the garden to see what was ready. There was a lot. I put away our veggie haul and got back to the quicklime. I'd made a good amount, enough for 2 stacks of plaster as well as a whole bunch of mortar for the ashlar blocks that will accentuate the lower portions of our castle walls and make up the ground floor inside our towers and walkways. I then took the rest of the path blocks we had on hand and started widening out the bridge path coming up to the gatehouse. With the ground floor in place, everything was coming together to start working upward. But first, a journey. We're completely out of slate to finish off the roof of the chiseling studio, and we'll need more for a couple spots on the gatehouse as well as several other projects in the future, I'm sure. What I failed to notice, however, was how dangerously low my pickaxe's durability was. Along the way to where we had initially nabbed slate, I got distracted by every ruin I came across. I found a few fun things, including a farming vessel with 3 cabbage seeds. Finally! Cabbages are the highest satiation vegetable in the game so far, so this will really give a boost to our meals down the road. I eventually arrived at a couple mountain peaks that had a layer of slate on top of granite where I gladly wore down the last of my pickaxe. I marked these twin peaks for later excavation and began the trek home. Of course, the journey home was met with more misadventures down holes in search of ruins. They say curiosity killed the cat, but in this case, curiosity landed us with another aged torch holder, an aged wooden bed, an aged owl treasure chest, and some new threads. Upon returning home, I immediately found 3 of the highest nitrogen-rich pieces of farmland to plant our new cabbage seeds. Then it was over to the dirt dugout to smith a new iron pickaxe as well as a new iron hammer while I was at it. I popped our 2 newly acquired H torch holders inside the chiseling studio to light it up and put together more conglomerate cobblestone and dry stone, encountering a brown bear on my way back from digging up some blue clay for said cobblestone. It's a good thing they can't fit through doors. And that brings us to... hold on one second, I'm still wearing this silly thing. Because that brings us to today, where we're going to finish up the interior on the roof of the little stonemason lodge here, and then hopefully get to work on more of the gatehouse with some chiseling, some wall construction, and maybe, just maybe, finish one of the towers. So for a start, let's get the limestone chiseled in on all of these interior walls. This is gonna be a long process. Learn from my mistakes. This could have been a much quicker process if I had just merged these all together as multi-chisel blocks before building. If anyone knows of a mod that makes it quicker to insert another block into a multi-chisel block, please let me know. Got a one-way ticket to Carpal Tunnel City here. think for these edges, I could just do pillar coming down. Yeah, because I'm going to have 2 trunks there, and that would just kind of frame it in nicely and break it up from the stone a little bit. And it would also hide the seam. Yeah. Do I have any pine in here? I do not. I'll have to grab, what, just 8 pieces? Easy enough. Going to the farmhouse, gonna grab me a bit of pine wood. Get away from the door, you chicken running chickens. There'll be no chicken run this day. And the finishing touches, at least on the interior. And there we have it. We've got a little bit more of this plaster look going on. It really brightens up the space, especially since we only have the 2 torches in here. Well, and the lantern that's right there, so it's a little artificially bright in here until we get our own lanterns in here. I might do a little bit of detail on the windowsills at some point, but because a lot of those windows are right there on the ground, the windowsill option that I had in my little test world for this probably won't end up happening. Now, the main thing we have to worry about is the roof. Get out of here, dirt. Ah, I'm hungry. Gotta finish off this roof. And grab a snack. Alright. I was just at the farmhouse and I forgot to have lunch. Although I guess since it's almost 1 in the morning, that would have been a midnight snack. There we go. Might have to go on another meat run soon and make some more sealed cracks. Let's take a bunch of these stones out. Just put some of this cobblestone in there. We don't need that for the time being. Take those and a bit more clay just in case. And let's finish up this roof. Yeah, 12, 13, 14 ridges. And that's gonna be 2, 4, 6, 14, 16. I really didn't need all that much to finish this roof off. For some reason I thought this was going to be a larger task than it was. Oh, there we go. And it's all sealed up without even having to do much of anything. I don't even know if I'll need the trapdoor here. Well, that's nice. It's a small enough space. Alright. Well, apart from some of the more exterior decorative bits, like the coining around the backside, this is pretty close to done. It'll get decorated in here as we add little slabs and decorative pieces and everything like that, and maybe have an expansion of tools along the walls, depending on what we actually need. Of course, we do need to get some trunks in here that'll get expanded as needed. We are super low on copper, so we're going to need a lot more copper before we can make any more lanterns or chests or pretty much anything, because there is no way I'm using iron for nails and strips. Only a madman would do that, and I might be the local madman, so I am the standard, and I'm not doing that. Now, of course, it's night, it's dark, it's raining. This is no time for a building time-lapse on the castle. So let's do a little bit of chiseling. It's probably better to have everything all prepped anyway. So I've got a stack of this conglomerate polished rock, which is the basis for most of the things that we need. Although, for some of the pieces, I do need regular conglomerate rock as well. So I think we've used up all our slabs. What's this? Granite. Huh. That is not good. I think we're gonna have to go on another little quarrying expedition, because I need some regular conglomerate rock. Back to the mines. Out from under the cloud. Nice. Is this the mine? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, this is our quarry right here. Alright. Woo.
Oh, we went deep. All right. This is still really stable for how low down it is. Huh. Sulfur vein might reduce our rates a little bit. You know what? We don't have any sulfur. Let's just, let's get some while we're down here. Why not? We can use it for a whole bunch of different things. Like, okay, blasting powder and bandages. I'd say that's a good enough amount of uses. Oh, wow, there is, more than just the little bit I thought there might be. Okay, well, I've got a stack of sulfur. I'm just gonna mark this. I can come back to that. That's, not our quarry for the day. Oh. Oh, a good chunk of this is just not gone. Okay. Well, perhaps a bit more sulfur for me. All right. Out of curiosity, I wonder how this looks deeper down, because that's weirdly stable. How far down until this stops being stable? This is an interesting little quarry. Uh-oh. So it begins. Uh-oh. Ooh, time to get the heck out of here. Alright. Whew. The stability was still really good. I wonder if I could build a base down at the mantle there. I didn't leave anything behind except for all of my ladders, right? You know, it's good enough for one trip. Well, onward, back to home. Okay, let's pop those. So we've got a stack of each right now of regular conglomerate rock and the polished variant. These are going to be two of our main building materials for all the detailed chiseled bits on the exterior portions of the castle anyway, so the walls, towers, and all that. Let's get to work then, shall we? So for some of these designs, I have saved them in my portfolio. And the portfolio is this thing here. So this is part of the Chisel Tools mod. It's a very new feature. Right here, Castle Wall Wedge Cap. Let's just click on that. And that's just opened by looking at a chiseled block with your pantograph in your hand and pressing P. So, with that, paste shape. There we go. So this block I had created in my creative test world, and I'm going to need a lot of these. There's a lot of decently detailed blocks that I'm going to need to make. And if I were to make them all twice over, well, it's gonna take a little while. One might call this cheating, but this doesn't really save me any resources at all. I'm still gonna have to get everything that I need for this castle. I call it being efficient with my time. There's going to be a lot of things I'll still be chiseling in this studio. The studio will not go to waste. Put too much effort into it for that. And already most of the building of the castle is just going to be copying these over from the pantograph anyway. So this just helps speed things up a little bit. Now, one neat feature that I'm going to test out right now. So we've got this regular piece of conglomerate rock. Now let's just go ahead and turn that into a chiseled block. Now for that, castle wall pointed topper. This is a little pyramid that I've created for up top on the castle, and I'm going to see if I can paste shape and materials. So I cannot paste materials from portfolio shapes. Ah. Okay, where's my chisel? Let's add that in there. There we go. Okay, so I do have to still manually add the other blocks to it. But here we go. This is a little pyramid topper for the walls of the castle. This is one of my favorite ones. Machiculation. So with that, if I can get up on top here, this is basically a little hole that's going to go down. And it's for dropping things down or firing straight down at people up against our castle walls. Of course, I'm the only person alive here, so guess I'll be alone with that. Because there won't really be anyone to shoot at. And then we've got the castle wall arch. Now these are just to round off on our castle walls. Yeah. Now I'm sure this all sounds very abstract. So let's put some of it into practice. I'm probably, gonna want to make this daytime before we do anything. For the first time, let's actually sleep in the bedroom up here. There we go, 3:38, 3:45. The sun should be coming up relatively soon, although I guess we're getting into August, so we might be a little preemptive for a proper sunrise. Well, it might still be raining, but let's do a little bit of building on this castle, shall we? Oh, wait. We're going to need one thing other than our bunch of stone.
Maple.
I left the saw over there, didn't I? Yeah, that's a shame. Let's just bring a couple stacks with us. Okay. So we're up at the top of our tower here for the gatehouse, and that's, it's looking pretty high up. We've already got a good view, and we're only gonna go higher. Ah, this is nice. The rain could let up, though. That would be fantastic. So let's get this all sorted. What is the natural direction that these want to go? That way. I can live with that. Alright. So we have to decide which side of the towers we'd be coming up from, and this way is going to have our path heading out. These are going to be our most outer side, so I think, honestly, this side, where the ladder already is there, this might be the side we want to come in from. Unless we do dead center of the tower, which might actually not be a terrible idea. Let's do it. And then we're just going to put this facing, since that'll be the way in and there's no other exits going out on the gate side, we'll just put our ladder going all the way down there. There we go. Now we have a ladder going all the way up through the gatehouse, and we're going to have 3 tall floors. So 1, 2, 3, boop, 1, 2, 3, boop, 1, 2, 3, and then the ceiling. Excellent. So we'll have several floors per tower, and eventually we'll fill these all in. But for now, we've got the top of this tower, and really the entirety of this tower, to deal with. So I think the best way to get this all sorted is going to be in the form of a time lapse. Let's do it. So I had a nice little interior tour there. We've got at least, well, it's filled in here, but we've at least got the framing for our gatehouse. I should probably do these. Oh, oh, and the boys are coming out. It's a medium night. Ah. Alright, let's make this daytime before we appreciate our hard work. Something I noticed is the 3 little chicks that grew up are the only 3 we have here. I don't know where Mr. and Mrs. Cluck went. I think they left the kids home alone. But either way, we're just gonna take a quick little nap down on our basement cot. There we go. Bright and early. 4 something. 5 in the morning. Look at that. Of course, we need to get the other tower in place before this gatehouse starts to really take shape, but I think it's already starting to come together quite well. Of course, we're definitely going to have to connect this down to the ground and, well, make a whole lot more cobblestone. Plenty of work to be done. Plenty of work to be done. Now, one thing I did notice while I was building. Once we hit the top of this tower, our gear is spinning backwards. Yeah, the top of this tower is a little unstable. Now, if we pop down onto the next floor, it's perfectly fine. It's only the top. It's only the absolute top of this tower. Which also led me to check out where I'd put that little pillar way back. Realizing now that with the gatehouse in place, that's not going to be where our keep goes. And that's good, because that is also not temporally stable. But just over by the trees and the waterfall back there behind me, now that's perfectly fine. So as we go along and continue to build, we're going to have to keep in mind looking at temporal stability for different areas, because the top of that guard tower, luckily we shouldn't be spending a huge amount of time up there. We're going to want to make sure different segments of the castle are not in places where I'm going to go crazy just from being there. Now right here I do have a little bit of the framing of the interior wall, or the decorative portions of it in, but I think, let's see, we've still got some polished rock. Let's work on finishing this up. I just ate. I'm a hungry lad. Such is life. You wake, you sleep, you hunger. Yeah, let's pop that empty crock back on the shelf and grab ourselves another. Did have to make myself some turnip stew in the meantime, just because I don't want to get into our sealed crocks. Those are for winter. Little snack secured, let's get right back to it. And if you notice, it's subtle during the day. There are slight lighting changes, and that's why I'm rotating these. Now, I'm sure I've said this 1,000 times before, but when you're using the Chisel Tools mod, it doesn't always update the lighting. So when you've removed pieces from the blocks, especially with the pantograph, you are going to want to make sure to adjust it either by adding and removing a voxel, or removing and adding a voxel, or rotating it with a regular chisel just so that it updates for lighting. Now, as you get more wonky lighting textures than you really want. See, like that. Occasionally you still get some texture changes like that. Some lighting things you just can't fix. Yeah. This is turning out pretty nice. You know, building like this is almost therapeutic in a way. And so these walls here, very much the same structure as these and as the tops of the towers. I do need to get the rest of this column in place here, which I should probably just do right now, in all honesty. Let's just do it while we're here. And a lot of this is just going to be kind of copying and pasting different blocks. Uh-oh. I knew this day would come. I've broken a pantograph. We're gonna need a new one. Though this does make me think... Why am I going in there? Making a lot of tools. And I've been having to replace quite a few of them, especially over the course of starting to build. We're gonna need to get the workshop in place over there pretty soon. And while I've been thinking about it, we are actually exceedingly low on copper. While this is heating up, we'll just go take a look. So, we've got 4 ingots right here, and back in the farmhouse, I think we've got maybe 3 ingots worth of different things we've gotten from panning bony soil. And that's just from, like, lamellar plates and other such things. So we could get, well, 7 ingots worth, which would get us roughly, is that 24 chests? I think so. If I'm mathing right, then I think that's about correct, but don't quote me on that. But this whole having to make tools by hand and work these iron blooms out by hand is getting to be, well, a little cumbersome on the wrist. I think the next order of business should probably be getting a Hellhammer setup. Now, I'm not a fan of doing a temporary Hellhammer setup. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it proper. There we go. One brand new pantograph. But as I was saying, we're going to want to get the workshop put in place sooner rather than later, and just over there where we have the big old cog, that's roughly where the entrance is going to be, built inside of this mountain. So I've been flip-flopping between a couple different design ideas. I did have the thought of going full-on steampunk at first, but as I was testing out different designs and wanting this to be kind of an ancient reclaimed thing, I started looking more at dwarven technology. So I don't know if that's the style I'm gonna go for, or if I'm gonna stick with the idea of full steampunk. This is looking good. This is looking mighty good. Let's get this out of the way. There we go. Look at that. I mean, the wall isn't complete on the side there, but I think it's starting to turn out pretty good. That one's got a bit of a harsh shadow, but I don't think there's much I can do about that. It is what it is. Yep. There is one little detail that is missing, however, specifically from the bottoms of the walls, and same with the outside of the towers. For that, I need to grab more of these conglomerate blocks, which I believe I've got. Hello, goat. I've got some of the bricks that I need for that, and a bunch of mortar. Excellent. Let's just pop some of these guys here, and I make 6 bricks. Okay, let's grab some more bricks. Wait, that's where all my cobblestone went. I thought I was out. Huh. Maybe I can get more work done than I thought. Now, the idea with these, let's show on a safer wall here, is to line these spots here with a very thin layer. There we go. And that gives just a little bit of a kind of a just reinforced base kind of look to the wall. Yeah. Oh, right. And then there's going to be an arrow loop there. There we go. So there will be little slots. On the regular walls, I might not quite do that. But at least on these interior walls facing into the kill zone here, we will have the little arrow slots on a secondary floor inside the walls. Because otherwise they'd be right here, and then attackers coming in could just poke at people who are shooting at them from in there. So at least here, you know, they've got murder holes up top, and arrow slits for anyone over on this side who's maybe just a little away from the murder hole down there. So this is good. This is good. We got some defensive structures going on inside of this castle. Or at least the little gatehouse that's actually turning out to not look so little. Sunset's nice, though. So let's get these in place at least a little bit. Can I get the other ones in place? I'm probably going to be... Oh, no. No, I'm not too low. I can actually... Aha! There we go. This takes some very careful precision, or I could have just put a ladder up here and it would have been fine. But no, doing things the easy way? Me? Never. I did things the easy way. Do you think I'd be building a giant castle like this? No, sir. We've got a thing going on here, and we're probably going to need to extend this down to the ground. And possibly start to buttress it, especially on the outer side there. Because looking at this side here, if we don't change the terrain, there's going to be a decently tall bit of structure here. So we do have it flaring out at the bottom, but we might have to kind of pick another threshold to then flare it out further, just to act as kind of a reinforced look to it. Also, I heard a wolf around here, so I'm getting out of dodge. Now that we're inside, safe and sound from any potential wolves, what I think I might do is, once the sun comes back up, I'm going to take some of the cobblestone and dry stone in there, maybe use up all of it, and just build however much more wall and tower I can in the gatehouse. Just get as much done as I can. And then I think we'll finish things off today by quarrying out a little bit of the footprint of the workshop. Because I've lived without a Helfhammer for too long. We need automation. At the very least, a break from my wrists. Do you know how much effort it is, hammering out bloom after bloom by hand for all eternity? I need machines. Which also means, depending on how much resin we're going to need, I might need to make another run there and potentially consider getting that resin tapping mod where I can just put a tap on the tree and get resin more regularly. But we'll see how things play out. So I'm just going to build up the walls a little bit more, and I will see you in just a moment. I'm realizing I'm blocking myself in here. Also realizing, is there even a way in? Did I design a way in? I don't think I designed a way in. Because there's going to be a walkway all around the entirety of this, but where's the entrance? Is the entrance going to be... Oh. The entrance is going to be inside the castle. We'll build this up and we'll worry about getting in and out after. We'll just use ladders for the time being. Once we've got the gatehouse finished and we start building the interior of kind of the first layer courtyard, then we can worry about building an entrance, probably here. Yeah. Or no ground floor entrance will have a staircase coming up on the interior side of the wall to get in. There we go. That'll do it. Yeah, you know, sometimes I think good. Not like all those other times where I think ungood. Or bad, one might say. I have the intelligence of a toaster strudel. Well, now I'm hungry. top one should be... That's a wood layer behind the machiculations. And how much cobble do we have left? We're on to our last 5 pieces currently. Alright. Noah wooing, that's a $350 fine. And we've got part of the tower put up. Just need to do the other few walls, so I just need to make more cobblestone. But it's coming together. It's coming together nicely here. It's harder to see it when it's dark like this. We just have to get our actual portcullis in place as well. Also, I don't remember if I recorded it, but I have a whole bunch of maple trees that I planted. Because, as you saw, we're going to need a lot of maple. Before I go too far, those pigs... A hollow goat. Is anything else randomly spawned in the pen? Nope. As I was saying, these pigs are ready to mate. Alright, and we just need to fill up these troughs. Let's go grab some flax grain and get to it. I just really wonder, where did Mr. and Mrs. Cluck go? Suey, it's feeding time. There you go. Eat your fill. And we're just gonna let nature take its course here. Have fun, Cutlet. Don't forget you're related. What was I doing? Ah, right. So, this is definitely far larger than the doorway that I'm actually wanting to make. So, let's burn through the rest of the shovel and let's just carve out the dirt in the actual footprint. I'm thinking roughly 5 by 5, maybe? Couple different ways this could go, depending on how recessed in the building should be. I don't think it needs to be a big old grand entrance, just maybe a vault door. Definitely, the more I think about it, the more I'm leaning toward kind of ancient dwarven kind of mind, very much in that vein of like Dwemer technology from Skyrim. Or I guess the Elder Scrolls in general, I should say. Even then, I don't know if that actually encapsulates the exact style that I'm going for. It's just going to be a mix of things. A little bit of steampunk, a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of just ancient ruins. Repurposed to be a modern-day giant forge. I'm going to be using some Dungeons & Dragons battle maps as kind of a rough idea for a layout. Because when we're working with grids, D&D battle maps just fit the whole big blocky look. But in any case, I'm going to dig a little bit further into here and then start doing a little bit of quarrying just to clear it out in a little bit of a quicker fashion. This is going to be quite the tunnel. I mean, just look at it. We're pretty far in. We can't even see outside, although it's night. And the space is going to be widened out. You know, a little bit more going all the way down there. And this is just the first 2 chambers of our workshop. Right about now, you might be screaming at your phone and or computer screen saying, Solstin, why are you digging a cave? You need a windmill for your workshop. Don't worry about it. I have a plan. And all will be revealed in time after I drop off a plethora of stones that are going to be used for our pathing, because I don't think we're going to need this much peridot. And if we do, Well, we'll figure that out when we get there. This is a lot. We're gonna have to find some kind of use for it. Yeah. Ah. I don't care that I'm hungry. There's a baby lamb. Baby lamb, go that way. Haha. You live outside? In there now. Be afraid. Speaking of being afraid, the three of you, where are your parents? I've been looking around outside for them, but I don't see Mr. and Mrs. Cluck, just their three now grown chicks. A part of me wonders if they got out, if at one point when loading the world, if they were standing right here and it just popped them on the other side of the window pane. We may have to relocate these chickens soon, so they don't suffer the same fate of phasing through windows. Uh-oh. Think we found the fate of one of them. I'm no anthropologist, so I can't tell if this is Mr. or Mrs. Cluck, but it's one of them, all right. We're really gonna have to get them into this coop sooner rather than later. It's not safe outside. Oh, wow, it's really not safe outside. So I think we'll call the episode here. We've gotten a good bit of work done today. A lot of work done on the gatehouse, and a good chunk of what we need carved out for our workshop. And by the end of next episode, we should, if we're lucky, hopefully have a Helvhammer up and running. So thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And a special shout out to our channel members. There's a good few more of you than there was last time. Hello. Welcome. We have cake. You just have to find it. It's under the couch somewhere. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll see you all in the next episode. Good night. Or good morning. Good afternoon. Good insert time of day here. Bye. No, kids. Kids, I've got some bad news. Your parents have gone to the KFC in the sky. Now, don't laugh about it. Wow. Wow. So disrespectful.